He's back. According to reports from Adrian Wojnarowski, he notes that the Knicks have re-signed Taj Gibson. Now, this was a move that was a little bit expected after the New York Knicks lost Isaiah Hartenstein. But honestly, I thought they were going to go a different direction, maybe make a trade. But they didn't do that, according to Woj. And he stated, Taj Gibson is back. We're going to break down this report, what it means for the Knicks moving forward, and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Taj Gibson is returning to the New York Knicks. That's right, I didn't stutter. You didn't hear me wrong. The Knicks are bringing him back. Recently, early on in the season, he was playing with the Knicks. He was there. He was a backup, especially when Mitchell Robinson went down. But then with Isaiah Hartenstein coming into fray and the Knicks wanting to be a little bit more flexible come the trade deadline, they went ahead and released him. But then they lost Julius Randle. When you lose another player and need somebody to come in, sub in right away, somebody who already understands Tom Thibodeau, the chemistry, and the offense, there's probably no better person you could get than Taj Gibson, especially if you're getting Taj Gibson at basically no cost, because again, according to Woj, he's only signed for 10 days. Here's what he stated. He's back. Mind you, when's the last time you've heard Woj say that? Look at Woj's tweet. See any tweets he's ever mentioned where he's named Taj Gibson like this or mentioned anybody and said he's back type of phrase. I've never seen that from Woj. I don't know if that's something significant or not, but I did notice it. Going back to what he said though, he's back. Free agent / center Taj Gibson is signing a 10-day contract with the New York Knicks. And per Ian Bagley of SNY, he notes that the Knicks will sign Taj Gibson to a 10-day contract. Gibson obviously can step right in and contribute. He was with the club for a stint earlier this season. In all, he's played 169 games in New York over 4 seasons. And again, ESPN was the first to cover it. Adrian Wojnarowski was the one who broke the news. I said at the top of the show that this was a little expected. The reason I said that is because when you're trapped or in a corner or you feel like you have no other options, what you're going to do is you're going to grab something that you feel like you understand, you know, and is reliable. That's really what Taj Gibson is for Tom Thibodeau. And when you're down somebody like Julius Randle, an all-star, nobody's going to be able to replace him. Even though that's the case, you need to get all hands on deck. Everybody needs to help step up and contribute to help fill the void that Julius Randle leaves now that he's not playing with the New York Knicks, at least for the next few weeks. That might go a little bit worse. We don't know as of yet because, again, right now the optimism is that Julius Randle will only miss a few weeks. But Ian Bagley did note and report that that's only the case right now. Things could change if Randle's recovery goes sideways or doesn't go the right way. However, I think myself and all New York Knicks fans are hoping and praying that Julius Randle will recover right and be back with the New York Knicks in a few weeks. Because I can say this definitively. If the Knicks lose Julius Randle for an extended period of time, longer than just a few weeks, then the Knicks are going to find it very difficult to win game after game after game because Julius Randle has that impact on this team. He draws defenses. He always gets the double teams. He passes out of that. He makes people better, especially this season. Julius Randle this year is playing the best basketball of his career. We said that last year because it was true last year. And I'm saying it this year because, again, it's true this year. He's taken his game to another level, and the way he's been passing that ball, finding the open man, swinging the ball along the baseline, he's been a big part of that, a big contributor of that. So you have to understand, him and what he does for this Knicks team is just so sensational. Not one person is going to be able to fill it in. But that's why everybody on the Knicks needs to step up and do it. That's why Precious Achiuwa is going to have a bigger role. He's going to need to do that. Isaiah Hartenstein, Isaiah Hartenstein, when he's playing in the game, he's going to need to do that. Taj Gibson, when he's on the floor now, even though he's on a 10-day contract. And the reason the Knicks did that is because they wanted to give themselves flexibility if and when that trade player that they want is available and they can go out and make that move. But other than that, they still wanted Taj Gibson because, again, he can help the Knicks right now and over the next 10 days when the Knicks are playing basketball. Now, just because I understand the move, I understand why the Knicks did it, and I can understand the situation that they're in, it doesn't mean that I like the move. Because again, I feel like there are other moves on the table that they could have made to address this situation. I don't mind Taj. I understand it. I've already accepted it. It's only a 10-day contract, so really, it's really no harm in the whole scheme of things. So I'm not really that bothered by it. However, there were so many ways, like I just stated, that the Knicks could have addressed the situation. There are other players on the board right now that the Knicks could trade for that could help them now and when Julius Randle comes back. But because Taj Gibson is signed to a contract for the next 10 days, I think it's safe to assume that the Knicks are not planning to do a trade, at least a significant trade, for the next 10 days. Because if they do, or they plan to, they're going to need another open roster spot. And Taj Gibson is now occupying that. So we have to think about that in regards to the Knicks and their moves coming forward. Because I don't think that they're just going to go ahead and make any trade possible right now. It's clear they're still waiting for a certain player to be available, or probably more the reason they're waiting for some player's value to drop at least low enough that the Knicks feel comfortable of giving up assets to trade for that player. And if that doesn't happen, they're going to look at the buyout market and they're going to try to get a player at that point in time. Either way, the Knicks are not hungry or desperate in terms of trying to get another player on this roster. And that is absolutely clear with this Taj Gibson signing. If you're not desperate to get a player, you're going to sign Taj Gibson. It's clear because the Knicks are winning. When you're winning so in dominant fashion. You're blowing out teams and you're doing it without your best players on the floor. It's a statement from the New York Knicks that they have a culture that they want to win, that they have a next man up mentality, and they want everybody who steps on that roster, steps on that court, to be locked in and focused. And I think that's exactly what you're seeing. Whether it's Precious Achiuwa, whether it's Josh Hart, whether it's Isaiah Hartenstein, whoever is stepping on that court, they understand what their role is, they understand what they need to do, and they're playing it extremely well. Dante DiVincenzo, shout out to him. Talk about somebody playing their role extremely well. Randle went down and he turned into the splash brother that Jalen Brunson always needed. Those two together are dangerous. And I think I can understand now why the New York Knicks are hesitant in terms of adding another player to this roster, because they don't want to mess up the chemistry. Even though I can understand that, it doesn't mean that the New York Knicks shouldn't go after a player that might be a star level type of player. Because if you get a player like that on this roster, you might make the Knicks even better. Sure, there's a chance that a chemistry issue could happen and maybe that player doesn't fit. But honestly, with everything we're seeing with this Knicks roster right now, the next man up mentality, anybody who's stepping on that court, being able to fit, help, have an impact, and contribute. I believe that if they played for Tom Thibodeau and this Knicks team, they would step up, step in, and help in the right ways. So I'm not worried about the chemistry issue as maybe a lot of you other guys are. I do think it's a concern, don't get me wrong. I'm still having it in my mind as something that could be affected, but I only think that can be affected depending on the player that you're getting. If you're getting an elite player, then I only think elite things can happen. But going back to Taj Gibson, again, he's back according to Woj. He's on a 10-day contract with the New York Knicks. And even though he's signed with the Knicks, I don't expect him to see heavy minutes. He'll probably play some garbage time minutes. Maybe if somebody gets into foul trouble, you'll see him a little bit more. I don't expect him to start. I still expect Isaiah Hartenstein, Precious Achiuwa. I still expect that lineup to start and have aggressive minutes, have a lot of minutes played between them, at least until Julius Randle comes back and the Knicks get some more players either via trade or the buyout market. However, they want to still upgrade this roster and add more talent to it. But either way, Taj Gibson, 10-day contract. Is it something significant? I don't know if it's something significant, especially not for the New York Knicks in terms of what they're doing. Taj is not going to see a lot of minutes. I don't expect him to get a lot of run or a lot of play. Taj right now with the New York Knicks is situational. I wouldn't worry about him taking minutes from the New York Knicks players or anything like that. I think that's exactly what his role is for the Knicks right now. And the 10-day contract would allude to that. But I also think this particular thing that the Knicks did here with signing Taj Gibson is also a sign that they're not in a rush to sign each and every player that's available on the market. They're waiting for the right player, and they're waiting for that player's value to meet what the Knicks are willing to offer. And once that happens, that's when the Knicks are going to make a move. And if it doesn't, I think it also shows that they're comfortable looking at other things that are available, whether it be available players that they can get right now or players on the buyout market. Either way, the Knicks have made a statement here stating that they're very okay going into the rest of the season with the roster that they have and looking at other avenues in terms of how they can upgrade this roster. They don't need to trade to upgrade this roster, is I think the message this Taj Gibson signing actually indicates. But what about you guys? What do you think about Taj Gibson signing with the New York Knicks on a 10-day contract? Is it significant? Is it something the New York Knicks and New York Knicks fans should worry about? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.